Hi there, it's Nicola Batalana from the Graphic 45 design team here, and I understand that someone was asking about fussy cutting on the blog today, or on the Facebook page today, and I love fussy cutting, so I thought that I would share just a couple of techniques or tips or tricks, things that I have found really helpful with my fussy cutting. So, the number one thing, I suppose the number one thing would be your scissors. These are the scissors that I'm using today. They're just X-Acto brand, small, pointy scissors. I'm not brand loyal. The main things that I'm looking for in my scissors is that they have a very sharp blade, that they're compact, and that they have a comfort grip. That's it. Once these scissors begin to go dull, once they start tearing the paper rather than giving a nice crisp, clean edge, I will retire these and they will go on to cut other things, and I'll get myself a new pair of very sharp fussy cutting scissors. The other thing that I do is when I get some paper that there are designs or elements that I want to fussy cut, I will actually sit for a couple of hours and do a couple of sheets and just fussy cut everything so that I have a stash of cutout elements. And I find this really useful when I'm putting things together, to just have a stash to just grab stuff from. And you know, you sit there and you watch Downton Abbey or Sherlock or whatever it is that you're into and fussy cut away. And yeah, I just find it really helpful to have that stash of pre-cut items. Now, fussy cutting itself. Here's a nicely cut flower, and there's a flower from the flower, and there's a little butterfly. So what I do, what should we cut out? I guess we'll cut out that flower again because it's a good example. So I give it a sort of wide berth and do very quick snip of what I'm cutting out. Excuse me. When I cut, I hold my breath, so excuse me if there's a pause while I'm speaking. But I also cut using the bottom part of the blade and not the tips. And the reason that I do that is, and I'll see if I can show you this way. Let's see. Okay. So if you cut using the tips, and you cut like that, you get this little sort of bump or little tear at the very end. If I cut using this part of the blade and just cut in and stop, I get a very sharp end. I don't get this little bump. The cut just finishes. So that makes my work, especially the end bits, a lot cleaner. So I always use this part of the blade and not the tips. The other thing that I do is I switch the direction that I'm cutting. So I don't just cut all the way around. I will cut in. There I am holding my breath. I will cut in one direction. And then I will cut going the other way. And when you do that, you get this nice, clean, sharp joins. It also saves your paper from, you know, getting your scissors in there really awkwardly. Like right here, if I go this way, I'm bending my paper. If I go in this way, I'm just joining those two cuts, and I get a much nicer edge. The other thing to consider are things that you can eliminate in the design. So for example, I could eliminate this leaf very easily. There we go. I can also eliminate these two teeny tiny leaves at the bottom. Now, if you want to leave those in and be a very impressive fussy cutter, by all means, go right ahead. I just prefer to make things simple. And it saves a bit of aggravation, or can save a bit of aggravation. So yeah, that is basically it. I just go in, keep the blade, keep the paper at the base of the blade of my scissors, and turn the paper rather than the scissors. I don't, honestly, maybe holding your breath does help. um, Go in with your scissors at different angles. Don't be afraid of chopping part of the design. For example, here the A is overlapping on, there's a letter overlapping on that leaf, and I'm just going to cut that right out. And nobody's going to know that that's, you know, that there was something there. As long as you make it, your edges look somewhat natural, you're going to be okay. Oh, I was going to say one more thing. What the heck was it? No, I totally forget. Anyway, I'm sure I'll remember tomorrow. Anyway, the important thing is, the most important thing to remember is that whatever gets the job done, that's the correct way to do things. There's tips and techniques and tricks, and try all of them, but do what works for you. That's the most important thing to take away from this. Anyway, good luck with your fussy cutting. Bye!